it's coming on. I feel like maybe the subject was too long. I mean, it never happened yet. Setting up for YouTube. Greetings, greetings, greetings. On. I feel like maybe. Okay, we're live. Jessica, beautiful, multidimensional, powerful being. My beautiful guest. As all the guests, welcome everyone, first of all, to Being the Glitch. So, as all the guests, they're experienced what it means being the glitch. Starting from a personal layer, right? Starting off meeting and standing right in front of your shadows, breaking the norm with your loved ones, family lineage sometimes, right? Sometimes it moved us into being leaders, shamanic journey. I just had in episode 001, my first episode, 2 Mondays ago, Dr. Catherine Clinton, that is a leader in quantum biology. So again, being a glitch doesn't stop with your own personal transformational journey. It ripples. It ripples into the world. It ripples into everyone around you. It ripples into your lineage, and so on. So I am honored and really excited to have beautiful glitches, powerful beings on this podcast that I just came up with a few weeks ago, because I feel like so many of us going through such an orthodox experiences, I will say, that maybe someone that didn't go through the experience of being the glitch can't fully see you and hear you. You cannot feel understood by the crowd because you are the one that glitching the crowd, collapsing their old paradigms. Hence, why we are here in the Being the Glitch podcast. So thank you for everyone who is watching right now, who will watch later. And Jessica, very much welcome, my dear friend, my dear shaman. Please introduce yourself whichever way you would like to express yourself right here, with whomever is collaborating with us. Go ahead.
Thank you, Roma, for creating this beautiful space to have these conversations, these very thought-provoking conversations. I love just listening to you when I'm not a part of it too. It's just always so enlightening. So thank you. And thank you to everyone that is joining now and in the future. My name is Jessica, and I am a shamanic practitioner with Be the Light Shamanic Healing. And I really love serving. It's like kind of what I do 24/7. Even in my sleeping hours, I'm oftentimes awakened by my guides speaking to me, sharing, this is how to connect. This is what we do moving forward. So this is kind of my life. This is what I eat, sleep, breathe, is this shamanic work. And I love serving people one-on-one and in groups. I do a lot of ceremony work, a lot of retreat sort of work and group healing work, as well as one-on-one work, both online, virtually, and in the Madison, Wisconsin area.
Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I couldn't introduce you any better. And I love that the glitches share their own stories. How they became the glitch, right? So, I had no idea yet. I just figured out yesterday. Both of you, so you and my first guest as a glitch, Dr. Catherine Clinton, why she is a leader of quantum biology, why you are leading people through shamanic journeys, because you had to face an illness. You both had Lyme and nobody could support you, and you both went very different direction, and you're here. And yes, my mind was blown. I was like, oh yeah, they're they're both at this point in the journey. That's where your the fork came in, and that's where your shift happened, transformation started to happen, and awakening started to happen. So it's insane and beautiful at the same time, and almost agonizing thinking that we're still in this age where the illness or disease or its body being punished, and body's doing something wrong. And yet, how beautiful that so many of us, it started with us saving our own self. It started with us saying our own emotional state, physical state, mental state. It started with the kids that were more sensitive, couldn't feel seen or heard. And now they're supporting this consciousness expansion. So, what can you add right here? How come, like, it's beautiful? It's a beautiful synchronicity, yet, yes, life had to hit us at some point pretty hard and pretty challenging. Um, at the same time, there are many, many people that go through this, right? From illnesses to mental illnesses, emotional, physical, all kinds of situations in life, from divorces to losing their loved ones, to the transitioning, right, into other dimensions. And it can take us really, really and spiral us very down. And it can be a permission slip to feel not enough, to feel in lack, to feel broken, as you need to fix yourself, to feel like there's something wrong with you, like the world can't help you anymore. And yet at the same time, right there on the same point, we have a fork to choose ourselves, to choose the wholeness, to choose like curiosity. What's there? So I was like, yeah, literally yesterday I was like, wait, Jessica's beginning of the beautiful journey was her Lyme, right? Disease. And then I was like, well, Dr. Catherine just shared the same, you know? She was in a medical school and that hit her and nobody could support her. And then suddenly she found her own way. So what can you add here,
Hmm.
if anything? Yes.
Yeah, I think regardless of what brings you to that breaking point where you feel like you might just die or you might just crack apart and fall apart and never to be brought back again into your wholeness, let alone your strength and empowerment, whatever it is, if it's an illness, if it's severe mental breakdown, if it's a heart-wrenching divorce, like you said, or whatever, and it could be something, doesn't have to be that big, but whatever it is, it's like, how do you lean into it? And how do you just say, whatever it is that will heal me from the inside out. I'm sick of slapping a band-aid on it. Like my Lyme was what brought me to that breaking point. But before that, I had 10 years of really intense other experiences that were calling me to stepping into my path, to stepping into alignment with my wholeness. And I think that we all probably have these callings, but we can go through life kind of like da 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 da, ignoring, blacking it out. It's like for someone it might be repeated accidents, repeated misfortunes, and we can think of like, oh man, this happened again, and we can be in that victim state and kind of move through like piecing it all together without just taking the time and space to really just be like, okay, I hear you. Maybe there's something greater here trying to connect with me. I hear you. What is it? And I feel like that was what I finally needed to do, is to just kind of like fully surrender. And it felt like just being outstretched on the earth and, looking skyward and just like, whatever it is, I'll do whatever it is. I don't want to go down that spiral again. And I think that's the thing too, is like for a lot of us, it's not a matter of one thing happened. It's a matter of there have been those attempts from something greater than ourselves trying to poke, trying to get our attention time and time again, but we weren't listening. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So for me, what that was when I finally was like, okay, maybe the things that I've been band-aiding, slapping the band-aid on all these years, are asking me to do something different. I will do anything. What is it? And then I landed in the chair of a shamanic practitioner that I was his client for 6 or 7 years. And it just transformed me. And it was through that process that I was getting the call of like, you should be doing this work. You should be doing this work. You should be doing this work. And again, that was another point where I would say, if any of what I'm sharing sort of kind of speaks to where you're at, is like, how do you lean into it? Because I was getting that message from the healer I was working with, from my own process, from other healers I was seeing. And I was like, nope, nope, I don't want to. I've got this reason, I've got that reason, I've got that reason. I'm not going to do it. But it just kept coming at me, and with health, with mental health stuff, physical health stuff, with just misfortune. It kept coming to, finally I was like, fine, I'll do it. I'll leave my career, this career that I worked really, really hard to build, and it was successful. I will leave it behind and I will do this. And things have just shifted like you couldn't even believe. Everything has gotten so much better. Not to say I don't have my challenges, I do,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Absolutely.
like you got it. There comes a point where you just have to surrender. You just have to surrender and really give yourself over. Like, do you mean it when you say you're sick of feeling this way? You're sick of living your life this way. Do you really, really mean it? If you don't, that's okay. But if you do, you've got to show up. You've got to surrender. You've got to make the sacrifices like we were talking about the other day.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, so beautiful. So first of all, if somebody is watching right now, thank you. And we did a one part on Facebook, kind of talking the way we met and who we are, and how we reunited and this rediscovered and why we're going this route right now, and talking about what are you going to sacrifice. So please, I will re-download it and upload it on YouTube for sure. Yet, if anybody has access to Facebook, you can go and watch it right after this as well. More than welcome. Yet, I think this is such a beautiful intro into. We're not going to take too much time today, so into the processes that we can allow not only our own selves to just check in, right? Because Jessica and I today will check in as well. Where are we at? That's what we always do. I mean, you cannot lead someone if you cannot lead yourself. And realignment and checking in and awareness of who am I being is a must. So for sure. And yet, for all of you beautiful beings, yes, as Jessica spoke of, our bodies, our reality. So I'm going to close the balcony quick. Speaks to us quite a lot. Right before really, really cornering us with these big events, usually it whispers, usually it aches, usually it feels a little heavy here, yet a lot of us dismiss it. We dismiss it not because we do it on purpose, because we were taught that survival is the priority. The survival of the fittest, the survival of the most successful, right? The survival, like which bracket do I fit in? How am I going to look? What am I going to do? And all this. So this 45 minutes, next 45 minutes or an hour fully of the live, this is your permission slip to check in with you. Before your body needs to knock harder. Before your reality has to collapse in your face. Because again, that's the funny human condition, right, Jessica? I don't know why there's so many of us go into that default position. Well, kind of no. Again, that's what we were given, and we simply got seduced by it, that's all what is. Yet a lot of us will dismiss our own intuition, will dismiss following through our own words, will sell out our souls, just to fit in or to perform. And sooner or later, misalignments within you will hit you. Will hit you through physical illness, through emotional illness, through your life collapsing, and so on. And you can move on in many ways. You don't have to learn the lesson if you don't feel like you want to cycle a couple more times, your free will. Absolutely. Yeah, this is for someone that is like, I would like to get out of the cycle, right? The closed loop and go into the spiral where evolution keeps happening. Then sit with us here and let's do the work. Let's feel and tune in into whatever your bodies are saying right now, even when we're sharing our own truth. Jessica and I, we're mirrors to each other as we're mirrors to you. So if something triggers or bothers or calls you forward, um, sorry, not sorry. That is my mission. And I feel like, Jessica, that is yours. So, yes, we were talking on Facebook and we continue today to talk about how that transformation will not happen without us sacrificing something, without us sacrificing our old beliefs, old paradigms, our old stories, without our us learning to relearning, maybe even, or unlearning to find the time, rather create the time for ourselves. How we're all learning right now, some of us like it's a ever first time, to prioritize ourselves, correct? How we are even learning to put something first that is an essential and necessary, rather just a little thing on the top. Always, always, we're gonna feel maybe a little better with the nails done, with a little makeup done, and it's beautiful tool. Why not? Absolutely. Yet if that's what you always need to feel good, that's a crutch, right? For me, it was a gym. I was always in shape. Jessica remember me as well. I did shape and I did the bartending. Yet at some point through this journey, that was taken away from me, just so I relearned how to feel and be okay without performing or being athletic and in great shape, right? So a lot of times, little things that we are utilizing as crutches will be taken away. And then the beginning is quietly and then gets very, very, very loud. So you don't have to go there if you decide right now, or maybe you are as sick to be sick as Jessica, like how tired and sick are you of being tired and sick? Or maybe you didn't even get there and you don't have to. I feel like our next chapter of this consciousness expanding on Earth is that coming to that point where we don't need the collapses, where I don't need the word to know that I'm in one piece, right? I don't need for somebody to die to understand that I wanted a few moments with them or I honor someone, correct? So that's the big invitation. If you'll feel some slaps, again, sorry, not sorry. Conditional, unconditional love is that beautiful mother's love, soft, and then on the top layer with the father's love. Yet, I promise, if you go all in here, you might just find the doorway where you get to enter, and that might be, and that could be your permission slip. That might be, it could be, if you choose to, you know, to go and to go and flip your reality around all the way around, like it happened for Jessica, like it happened for me. Without these big collapses, without you getting Lyme, without you getting so depressed for 6 months that nobody recognized you, correct? That I'm talking about my own personal story. So yes, Jessica, anything to add as we go from whatever I said right now? Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I'm excited to dive in.
Okay, amen. So before we dive in into a few questions that I have prepared, Jessica, you're gonna go anywhere you want to right after that as well. Um, why we why you Jessica answer first, and then I'll add because I already know what I want to say. Why did we pick this subject with you today? The theme of everyone wants transformation, but so rare few or nobody wants the pilgrimage.
Wow.
Everyone wants this huge shift in their reality, and there are so few that are really going to step into it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate to be too repetitive of what we talked about the other day, but I'll try to make it brief. So I think that the sacrifice is the missing key that was stolen from cultures all around the world over hundreds of years, where the powers that be actively did everything they could to erase ancestral cultural ways, holistic, nature-based connection with spirit ways, right? So this happened all across the world. A lot of people think it only happened in the Americas and Africa, but it actually happened, I would venture to guess, probably most
Yeah.
cultures.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe every culture, except for those that are still untouched with which there's at least one. But anyway, that's a tangent. So, um, there was such this drive to erase these cultures, and they erased quite a bit, but they didn't erase it all. And we've got these tendrils. You know, there are cultures that are still intact, that are practicing these ancestral ways of being deeply rooted with the earth, the elements, with spirit guides, with spirit God, oneness, universe, whatever you know that to be. There are these tendrils where there's unbroken lineages, and then there's a lot of us too that are kind of pulling the tendrils that have been fragmented together, and we are reclaiming this birthright. But there's that missing key of sacrifice. And I think that is the piece that we need to bring back is like, hey, okay, we've got the practices. We connect to earth, we connect to ourselves, we connect to spirit, our guides, etc. Powerful, amazing, beautiful work. But also let's not forget that sacrifice was such a big piece of it in terms of what people gave up to really go deep in the transformation. You know, you think about a pilgrimage, I mean, that word gets thrown around a lot, as does Vision Quest, for example. Like, that was some hard stuff, you know, walking hundreds or thousands of miles, sleeping under a tarp at best. You know, Vision Quest, like you're fasting in the wilderness with no shelter, no food. Maybe you've got water if you're lucky. Like, you know, there's all these ways in which we used to sacrifice that we have kind of found modern comforts to bypass them. But again, it's not our fault. I think it was stripped away on purpose, perhaps. I don't know. That's my thought. But it was stripped away, and now we need to reclaim it. We need to bring back the sacrifice.
Wow, amazing. I love it. I know why we connect so well. So I always used to say, and I still say, seven hermetic principles. Most of us know it in the spiritual community, although we're all spiritual. So I don't know why we have spiritual and non-spiritual community. Maybe the non-spiritual is the ones that are not aware of their spiritual nature, right? Yet there is always, for me, there was always an eighth hermetic principle that I feel like was forgotten or stolen or hidden. It's that action. So again, it's that action of that sacrifice, because you cannot bring anything into physicality really without, or anchor it or stabilize it without taking action as mental principle and all these other principles. Yes, but the action will ground it into the 3D, into whatever 4D or 5D that we're going into. Yet I love that you say that, because yeah, I've always been like, we're missing one more action, action, action. Hence the embodiment is my right glitch. Embodiment is my mission. Like being the messy, and rewriting these mental and emotional stories in the mess and the chaos of physical action. Because their transition might feel very messy and chaotic, yet chaotic again, it's very fertile. It's something that is undefined. Everything that is defined is done, cannot be anything else. And every time I collect something, I will feel undefined. So yes, love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much. Okay, I say let's ground before a few questions that I get to ask us and the public. I do have my notes, yet I kind of answered them before when I was coming up with them. You are more than welcome to journal as well. Once I will say everybody goes to journal for 2 minutes. Yet, before we go in, let's just simply ground. Every moment of you being the ritual, you paying attention to yourself, your presence, you hear maybe where your body is, maybe how the floor feels, maybe what is the space. It grounds us, right? because we're never really disconnected from source. We are it, a part of it. And the big part I say at this point is not only recognizing that we are the co-creator and the source, yet how do I ground it? So how do I ground it? And through the sacrifice, right? How do I ground it through the action or whatever that is? Let's take a deep breath in. All of us together, all in, and let it out. Ah, with a sigh. Maybe make some noise. Maybe move your shoulders. Maybe your neck. Beautiful. As you're sitting or standing, beautiful hands on your heart. Jessica already does that. Can you continue taking these slow, natural breaths and simply say to yourself, I am here. Ah, yes, and so it is. This is my integration and of the new, and this is my collapse of the old. We're already declaring what's going to happen right now on this call, and we have zero doubts, correct? Keep breathing in, keep letting it all out. Can you feel your hearts? Can you feel your hands? Can you feel your hands warming your heart and vice versa? We're always exchanging. We're always exchanging with what is around us. Now say to yourself in your mind's eye, or maybe out loud, I call all my energy back to me in this moment. And everything that is not mine can go now. And so it is, and so be it. One more time. I call all of my energy back to me. And so it is, and so be it. And everything that is not mine, you can leave right now. And so it is, and so be it. Oh, that beautiful grounding. Acknowledge to yourself, declare to yourself, my field is my home. My field is my home. My field is my home. I return to myself fully right now. I return to myself fully right now. And so it is, and so be it. Okay, what a beautiful way to start our collapse of old and checking in with what creating with new. So first, before Jessica takes us anywhere that she wants to take us in this beautiful subject, right? What are you sacrificing and what really sacrifice feels like, maybe looks like. Again, we all have our own experiences. Here is a little process for you that I will give you. So everybody, you can pull your notebooks out. In fact, if you don't have it and you watch it later, pause, get your Jessica. Don't worry, she's like looking around. I love it. Don't you have that? Oh my God, look, she's ready. Pause the video and go get it, because again, every time, every time, like even if you're in the midst of something right now and just kind of halfway listening, you tuning in into yourself, you're establishing trust within yourself, you're establishing deeper relationship with yourself. You're telling yourself and the universe you are here for you. And really, that's going to be the only thing that will pull you through all of these dark nights of the soul. You got you. Okay. So, right now, this questionnaire will not be a punishment, a judgment to you. You don't get to go into shame. You don't get to go into guilt. You don't get to go into belittling yourself or labeling yourself in any way. You simply get to see what is the mirror reflecting at this moment right now, because wherever I am in this quantum field, I am locked in into some kind of trajectory. And this trajectory can lead me to the place of the results that I don't want. There's more lack, like always. There's more not enoughness, like always. Or I can recognize the trajectory that I'm on and shift it if needed. So I know that all of us, when it comes to the investment, when it comes to the sacrifice, when it comes to exchange of transformation, a lot of us in the beginning, especially, will go into a few stories, right? I don't have enough time.
Mm.
I don't have enough money. I'm not a priority. And you will never usually say it out loud, beautiful beings. But that's what I hear it when you say, but my kid needs me to drive him in the AM to school, and my husband needs the lunch that I have to put together at 7 a.m. So I don't have time for myself in the mirror for 10-minute affirmations, as Roma, you say. Now, here's a self inquiry for all of you, okay? Because if we don't change these stories, if you don't reframe what it all means to you, the time, the money, okay, the prioritizing yourself, your trajectory will continue into the same groove, and you will have the same results as you have today with no matter how much effort you will be putting in. Because there is a reason why you don't live your dream life right now. And it's not because you didn't try and did an effort. It's not because you didn't put in the work. It's because you're not aware that your subconscious is working against you. And every time you complain, let's say to Jessica I, about not having enough money, not having enough space, time, and so on, or even sometimes health, or I don't even have a space in my head, right, to go through this right now. You're simply repeating your own ego story that will keep you validated with the results that you have right now. Even they're uncomfortable, even you're suffering, even these are the results that you don't want, that will be satisfaction enough because you're still in a familiar space. So the stories must change for you to change your trajectory. And again, even if you're not going to invest with this work right here, with me, with Jessica, with someone else, simply allow yourself these few questions to be your reflection of why you're working so much and it's not working out for you. Okay? So, as we're looking and our system is grounded right now, we're just grounded, and we're looking at our old story. Your past stories cannot go to your future. So right now, write down the story. This is my story about the money. Right? This is my story about the money. The next story would be, this is the story about my body. What about the aging? Right? What about the, oh, there's nothing wrong I can do because it's my genetics. Or you mentioned, Jessica, last time, I'm too old for this. I'm too old for transformation. It ain't that. It's just, it's a no ways. Do you know, like, now that I love Disney, because I have a very different theory about Disney World, right? But you know that Disney, well, how old was he
Oh,
when he, oh, he was old. He became successful at 48, 68, something like this. Is it ridiculous? 58? Yeah, something like this.
100 failed attempts. I know that. Something like
Yeah, yeah, here we go. So what is that story of your age? What is that story of your genetics? Story I can or I can't. How many times, what, like, how many stories you have that I can't? I can't something. I can't do this. Now, story of self priority. Oh, oh, you mean I'm not going to answer the call of my mother right now and I rather go do my own stretches? You mean I'm not going to pick up a phone call from my girlfriend to gossip about how her date went and I rather go and meditate and turn off the Wi-Fi? You mean instead really just being surface and making myself feel better and putting all this makeup and asking my girlfriend where I can get the next haircut rather being like, hey, I'm not doing well. Who do you have that I can go to that we can dig deep? Because these all stories has to shift for you. So my biggest invitation is this. I'm sharing these questions. And if Jessica and I, and maybe on the third part, we'll have more time as well. I would put the music right now for you for 15 minutes and you would go down on these stories. Why? If your story with the money is right now, I can't afford it, I want you to understand that in this moment, now, right now, whatever you're reacting to, it's an echo of the past. Yes, maybe in your account right now, $10, 300, 10,000, whatever. Maybe it's minus. Maybe right now, at this moment, you've never had an experience of investing into you. 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 300, prioritizing a half an hour in the morning for yourself, making yourself the most important breakfast first, and then going to check on your girlfriends, right? Or tending to your fascia or tending to your body in the evening, and then checking in how the girlfriend's date went. Yet if you never going to change that story, I promise to you, beautiful beings, I promise to you, I don't need to promise, you already know. The results that you have right now, these are the maximum results that you will ever have in your life. And you're going to effort more. Oh, you're going to try to show up so many more times. But none of these beautiful moments will be sustainable. So if you don't change your story about the money right now, that, oh, could it be that, hey, Roma, how do you, let's ask, Roma, how do you reframe it? What do you mean? Yes, I have $199 in my account. Your session is 222, and my kids, I don't know, my kids' allowance comes out $50 next week. That's all what I have. Okay, that's beautiful. Yet if you continue to react in every now from this, because this is your past, you will never even have an option, possibility, or well, probability, especially. There's always possibility and probability that you actually have 3,339 to spend on you right now in your bank account. So first of all, can you be like, up until now, maybe I've never invested in myself so much. And up until now, maybe this kind of an amount sounded absolutely ridiculous and unreachable for me. Yet again, if I never change the story, I will never be able to experience anything else. Meaning, you cannot experience the life of someone you don't identify with. Can I experience life of a beautiful woman if I don't identify with a beautiful woman? I cannot. Can I experience life of somebody that's valued if I don't feel valued? Or I don't identify with being valued? Can I experience life with someone that, yes, I can, if I always say to myself, I can't? So basically, I close these windows. So this, again, this YouTube, maybe it will sting here or there. Maybe it will be slapped here or there. Yet our intention and mission is to call you forward as I was called forward. My first coach, I don't know how your shaman worked, but yet, my first coach, I threw my notebook at him after one of the processes. I don't need this shit. I was in LA and I threw the book at him. He nodded and it flew by him and it hit the wall. And I literally walked out of the office, and I walked out and I opened the doors with my leg and I said, I don't need this shit. I don't need this shit. He put me through the death. I was dying in meditation and I had to give my last messages to my mother, to my sister, to my boyfriend, and it freaking broke me. But right there, I got so sick and tired. I mean, in that moment, I was like, never again. Never again. What do I need? Like you said, what do I need to do? Okay. Now, what? I don't care. Give me one step at a time. I'm in, all in, not even questioning myself, right? So for me, the biggest thing right now to leave you with is, and hey, beautiful beings, by the way, I'm going myself through a rebirth, right? So I'm not saying that it's easy or you will not have challenges. And I'm not going to say that the past has totally nothing on you, but it doesn't, really doesn't. Our ego feels like it has. Yet if you don't shift these stories of you having mentor, being able to invest into yourself, not only creating and having resources come to you to invest in yourself, being able to create the time, the space, the priority for yourself, nothing will change. So once you answer these story questions, before you go into flipping those stories, here's another question for you. If nothing ever shifts with your body right now, the way you feel about it, the way you look at it, the way you dress it, the way it's healing, where are you in 10 years? If nothing ever shifts right now for you in your relationships, with your husband, with your wife, how they touch you, how they see you, how they feel you, your kids mirroring you back, your friends supporting you, holding you this place, or maybe not. If you don't get into deeper intimacy with yourself, and these relationships never has another inch of depth, where are you in 10 years in these relationships? And would you be absolutely satisfied and absolutely ecstatic? Or as a minimum, excited? If nothing changes in your career, if nothing changes in your story of your abundance, through symbol of money, through symbol of support, through symbol of space that you have, food, water that you have, where will you find yourself in 10 years? Because it comes and goes. If your stubbornness right now to hold on to the old paradigm doesn't shift ever, if you want to be fucking right the way you wanted to be right up until now, and nothing shifts, where are you going to be in 10 years? You're going to be right. Good for you. But is that the alignment? Is that the life you want to experience? Are these the results that will feel good on you? Is that the skin, the face, the confidence, the peace you want to wear within yourself, on yourself, right? So look at your stories. Ask yourself what happens if those stories don't change. And then, when you get really mad at yourself, when you get really mad at how's it be going, or maybe you surrender to what was. See, there is no one way through the journey. The healing can look in every way. It can be through anger, it can be through surrender, it can be through madness, and it's okay. Then, when you know what it's going to cost you if you never change, that's when you going to reframe all these stories. Can you believe that you can make money to the point that you can afford not only Jessica's support, but mine and another 5 besties, right? Like the most amazing Ayurveda treatment and the yoga instructor, and then you have a breathwork coach. Who gonna give you permission to be that, see that way, dream that way, live that way? Who's going to give you a permission? So what is that story about the money? What is that story about your priority? What is that story about your money? What is that story about you being sick or not being sick, or too tired to be tired? And then if it doesn't change, are you going to be okay with all? I love the lights coming off. Are you going to be okay? Are you going to be not in survival yet in thriving with the results that you have right now, if it's the same results in 10 years, in 20 years, and in 30 years? Because resentment is the worst to live with. And you never really resent others, you resent yourself. Okay, Jessica, take it anywhere you want to take.
Well, Roma, you took us pretty deep there. Took us pretty deep. So, okay, I think what would be really beneficial for people is to take the time and space to really be with those questions.
Absolutely.
And I know we don't have a whole lot of time left. There are a few things that I wrote down, just for myself as I was listening to you. And so the thing that comes to there are two things that come to my awareness that feel like they could serve really well. So one is hmm, giving people some framework to get out into nature in a ceremonial way to start to release that energy.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to interrupt you for a moment. So yes, again, we would love to have more time, yet Jessica has arrangements, and again, we're all doing. So we're gonna, again, as I give you questions, pause that video and go into that journaling. Go into that journaling, face it, feel it, look at it, look at yourself in the mirror if you feel like, ponder on it. And then I love Jessica, please give them some frame, right? As they gonna be honest with themselves and then start reframing their stories. When you start reframing your stories, you being very uncomfortable because your nervous system is not used to these stories. A lot of it sounds like a lie to you as well. And then here is the resentment comes up, and here's the glitches comes up. And then the moment, usually how universe initiates us, like, I am beautiful, and you walk out and here is three slaps in your face. Somebody told you these are ugly shoes. Like, it's going to be right there. It's going to show up very fast. So I promise you, if you're going to declare and rewrite those stories, it's going to start coming up very fast. And now Jessica going to give you a tool to support you to start continue collapsing that familiarity, correct? And then start to integrate all the new. So yes, please, because, and by the way, I still really would love to come out to Madison and have a journey with you somewhere in nature or a circle or something. So we're going to work on that for sure.
Yes, yes.
We're going to trust on that for sure. We know what's happening. Go ahead. So yes, please
Yeah.
pause the video, answer the questions, go deep, have a candle, put some music, take your journal, and then when things gonna start come up, here's another tool that Jessica gonna give you. How gonna keep moving these energies through me so they can kind of like be released. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I see this as there's kind of a choose your own adventure scenario
Oh,
here. So
love it.
that the practice that I'm going to give right now is a nice layer to kind of scrape away and release the energy that has threads and ropes of attachment to these stories, like Roma's talking about, right? So this is kind of the first layer, and it will serve you well. And if you want to go deeper, I see the second layer, and maybe Roma, this is something you and I do again, or maybe we can talk about, does it make sense for me to put something together to go deeper into this next part? I think it's all going to drop in with
Yeah, love it.
after.
Absolutely.
So the second layer is doing some shamanic journey work where I'm rattling or drumming and guiding you through three different phases. So the first phase would be, and when I say journey, I'll share more in a later time, but it's a way of really digging deep, and we go into the theta wave state, and we access deep within ourself. We access collective consciousness. We access our experiences in this lifetime and previous lifetimes. So we're going really deep. It's kind of like a meditation, but definitely not a meditation. And because it's not necessarily for the process of relaxing, it's for the process of really excavating what is within that's ready to come out and be seen and released. I mean, there's so many ways that you can use journeying, but this is how I would see us doing it in this container. So the first journey piece would be something along the lines of where where have I hmm where have I been holding myself back from going as deep as my soul is yearning to transform myself inside, to transform my life, my reality, to allow it to permeate every cell of existence within and without. So, this is where you're going to see those old stories, patterns, those beliefs, thoughts, things running on even the more subconscious level than what Roma is instructing you to do, right? So, you're already hitting that with her prompts. And then this is going to go, it's like another layer we're shoveling
Yeah.
in. Right? And then the next piece of the journey would be, what do those pieces, parts, old beliefs, thoughts, experiences, those threads, those tendrils of attachment, those ropes of attachment, what does all of that energy want me to know? So I'm going to invite it to sit with me, and we have a cup of tea, and I want you, these energies, to share with me everything that you want me to know so that you feel complete and you feel ready to be released, and welcomed back home to, like, I think of limitless love, or the earth, where some people may think the stars, heaven, water. You know what, we really want to give all of these stories, these energies, these old experiences and thoughts and beliefs the time and space so that they feel like, yes, there's this, and they're like da 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 da, telling us all this stuff, and then they are like, okay, I'm ready. Because until we fully hear everything that they have to say from the shamanic lens, at least, they can have some little stickers on, the little like hitchhikers that can continue to walk with us. So if we fully hear them, and then I'll take you through a process of releasing that energy. And then the next part would be, okay, so now we're going to journey into the future, into us thriving in our highest potential, and really immersing ourselves in that highest potential. And then asking that future self, what is it that I can sacrifice now as I step into alignment with my highest and best self? Because we're not making sacrifices just to do it, right? We're doing this with focus, with intention of stepping into alignment with our highest purpose. So that would be the last piece of the journey. So I could see that being a very supportive experience. However, it is a lengthy process too. I mean, it could take us probably like an hour and a half. So that may or may not be of interest to people in the future. And Roma and I will talk about that and figure that out. But for now, I think what's going to serve you really well, this is again that first layer, and then we just talked about the second layer, is I want you to get outside. So you've done the journaling with Roma's prompts, and now it's time to get outside. If it's your backyard, if it's a city park, if it's out at a beautiful nature, serene place, it doesn't matter. And I want you to put your hands on the ground. Maybe it's concrete. Maybe you live in a city and you're at a fountain and there's people all around you and there's no grass to be seen. Fine. That's good too, right? Put your hands on the ground and say thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you to all of my spirit guides. Thank you to all of that spiritual essence that has been here supporting me, guiding me, whispering to me all of these years. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for your guidance. Thank you for this time and space right here, right now. I am open. I open my heart fully to hearing your messages, to hearing your guidance as I step into greater alignment with my highest and best good. And it's a very open process. And maybe you go in with this intention of, how do I really release those stories? How do I alchemize those stories to really let them to die so that they can be mulched into the earth? The earth receives the energy of the old stories. They're not bad. It's just old. It's ready to go.
Survival. Yeah, yeah. They used to serve us. They
Yes.
served us very well.
Yes.
Survive. We are ready to thrive.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So we ask Mother Earth in those couple minutes of just saying the gratitude and opening ourselves, we ask her, please mulch those old energies, please mulch them and turn them into nutrient dense, beautiful gold for something else to thrive in another place in another time. And then we can open ourselves up to our higher selves, to the pure consciousness of the sun, of the stars, of God, goddess, oneness, universe, whatever it is that you connect with, open ourselves up to just be completely filled with our own beautiful, perfect, pristine, divine, eternal wisdom and guidance. Please cleanse and clear ourselves of that which is ready to go. And then through that process, through that time in nature, to just have a conversation and notice what comes to you through any of your seven senses as you're walking, asking questions. Maybe you've got intentions. Maybe you're simply present and you're just noticing what comes into your awareness through any of your seven senses. So you've got your five senses, and then your sixth sense of your sensing, knowing sense, and then your seventh sense of sacred imagination, which is every bit as valid and important as all of the other senses in so many cultures around the world. No, there's no hierarchy of senses. A lot of people get stuck on, oh, I didn't hear anything, I didn't see anything, but they don't realize that sacred imagination and the sixth sense and the felt sense and the just knowing sense, like those
Just
are
knowing, yeah.
right? So I want you to play around with all of your seven senses and have a conversation, ask some questions, see what comes to you, as you really sit with like, and you're moving and you're walking and you're in nature, you're just with these ideas of like, yeah, how do I really let it go so that I can start fresh and really bring in what I want, like Roma was talking about. Yeah, so that's the practice.
Wow, I love it. And we did not put it together before. We Jessica and I didn't practice, and I absolutely love it. And before closing, we'll bring it all around. So yes, as I shared and start taking you on your journey, like, okay, let's question thyself. The question, the ego, right? The pain, like who is hurting, right? What is the story that is hurting? Da, da, da. The feeling out, feeling through, moving through the emotion and through the feeling. Absolutely. We will not. Like I rather sometimes prefer people not even understanding the mental story. It's okay. Rather than not feeling through, right? The feeling through will be always very, very important. You asking and speaking to the field, to the nature, to the earth, asking the earth to support you, to exchange that energy, to purify it, to harmonize it. It will do it for you. No questions asked. Jessica, thank you so much for reminding, because again, we live in the symbiosis with everything around. My harmony is its harmony. Its harmony is my harmony. And absolutely, again, hence it's quantum living lifestyle. I didn't call it like come and get it. No, it's a lifestyle, period. And then I will actually even take us further right before we finish this episode, right? As we just talked about that sacrifice and that action. So I will say the sacrifice or the action, kind of, I'm just gonna mush them together, right? At this food in purpose for this container at the moment. Um, so you got clarity, right, of your old paradigms about the money, about prioritizing yourself, about what you're able of or not. And then you go out and connect, tune in, feel whatever you need to feel, like Jessica said. Uh, you know, um, asking for support from the field, from the nature. And then when you're gonna start feeling it, you'll start feeling maybe even, the density come up and then release. Here is another part of integrating it into your life, integrating into your daily life, integrating into the situations, right? So I can figure out what's the trigger and write down the story and then go and feel it out. Yet the real integration going to happen when I'm going to actually meet my mother and have the same trigger, and I'm going to act a little differently, feel a little differently, project a little differently. So as long as I'm shifting the projection into a deep alignment, that's the action that is taking, that sacrifice that has been happening, right? Meaning a sacrifice on me not to have to be right in front of my mother. Like I don't have to fight for it. I surrender. to what is, right? Maybe me not being able to do that and then reaching out, like surrendering to like, I gotta reach out to Jessica and like just ask her to hold my field, right? It could be. It could be again, the situations come up and really, really the old story seducing you to come back to this mental story because universe is mental. And then this mental story, you're gonna start bleeding again into your old feelings. And it's so easy to entangle because your nervous system has just barely starting to feel safe with that grass, with those hands on your grass. Start feeling safe as you're shifting your story, but it doesn't know how to, as default programming, right? To feel safe. It's still gonna be like, am I really safe? Right? Am I really gonna prioritize myself right now? On a sacrifice of them thinking that I am being selfish? Wow, that's a lot, drama. And Jessica, like, what do you? That's literally the lifestyle, the process, the journey, because this journey was never about the destination. And I think at this point, a lot of us that are awakened earlier, like even when I say that, it sounds so, I don't know, funny. Yet at this point, I'm awakening from my awakening. You know, it's not a destination of feeling good if it's about being good at feeling. It's not about the destination of I am absolutely only in the bliss 24/7. It's not about, being that guru or be, it's really like, how well can you do the human and ripple the light while you in the midst of all of it, you know? So get the clarity. Clarity supports, right? The more I understand, the easier for me is to integrate my understanding. Because clarity supports, if I'm acting one way and I don't want to act one way, it's very easy to be shameful and guilty and everything. But if I understand where this act of survival comes from, right, it is easier for me to create grace and a space for compassion for myself, at least at this moment, and then maybe for others as well, correct? Go into the feeling it all out as much as you can in that moment. And maybe these stories, when you write them down, I trust and I actually hope and I wish that for you, that it would bring everything up. And then you can go into the ritual that Jessica shared and allow yourself to feel it all, because that's the best. I'm writing it down. My subconscious suddenly sees it all. Wow, it all's coming up, right? And the anger and the frustration and the confusion and the tears and the agony, right? Ooh, now I get the support of Mother Earth. I get the support of the field. Can I feel out as much as I can today? And then, as next now comes, and the next now, and the next now, can I start integrating through the sacrifice of not needing to be right, through the paradigm shift and action of, you know what? I'm not going to wait for the vacation in January. I'm actually going to invest into myself right now, because vacation was for me to feel good. What about me feeling good all the time? That's an action as well, right? You know what? I'm going to put this boundary, although it feels uncomfortable right now because I feel a little lonely. But you know what? Let me see how this boundary going to feel in the long run as well. Correct? So if you get some clarity and then you allow yourself to feel it all, and then step by step you start integrating whatever you realized, whatever the knowing came into here, and then you integrate it into your movements, into your body, into your response, into your reactions. That's when your whole reality, the whole life, gonna start to shift. In fact, it's gonna start to shift with you just declaring the first thing, like I'm sitting down and writing the stories. It will already. Jessica, doesn't it happen to you all the time? Do you know it's insane? Yet I love it. Sometimes I'll talk to someone and then they will say yes to my container one-on-one. Yet our calls will be like in 3 weeks or 2 months. Let's say we agreed, the moment they do the energetic contract, it's crazy. They call me, I don't understand what didn't, everything is shaking in my life. What's happening, Roma? It's collapsing. Because the moment you said full yes to yourself, then universe will start shifting for you already. So don't be afraid. Either it's through the self-inquiry and the questions. Either it's you going out in the nature and you know what? Falling down as a 45-year-old adult and actually having a tantrum in the middle of the forest as a 3-year-old, perfect. That would be just perfect for you to release, right? No matter how it looks, yet again, a little clarity, allowing yourself to fully feel it, and then integrating it into your community, into your home, into your daily lifestyle, into your being, these little new stories of new paradigm, these little trickles of realization. It's like drop by drop by drop will literally reshape the stone. We already know it. And Jessica, go ahead, add anything you would like.
Yes. Well, oh man, I wish I had all day to talk, but I do have another meeting that I need to get to soon. But what you shared, I think what feels good for me to kind of bring closure to my piece is that we are opening a doorway. This is a ritual. This is ceremony. We've opened the door and you've walked through the door, and the door, it's like a threshold where now you get to be, if you want, in a new reality. So it's not just a matter of what shifts in this time and space with the journaling or out in nature, and then you move forward, you close the door, and you're back into regular life. No, you've opened the door into a new reality, and now you're living in a little bit of an upgraded, more intentional, more aware reality. So just watch how things unfold over time, and remember that when your brain or your body wants to go back to what the old patterns were, just remember what we've talked about here. Remember the process that you did. Remember that support that you felt at the fountain or with nature, with the tree, with the insect, the bird that came to you, and tap back into that. And as Roma talks about a lot, and like quantum physics and everything is here right now, we can tap back into that, and it's just as real, it's just as supportive, it's just as empowering and transformational 5 years from now as it is from right now. If I can tap into that experience, oh, remember that experience I had with the tree? And I felt like the tree was guiding me, and the tree took my pain and it said this. We can tap in at any point.
Amen. Beautiful. 0 point. And again, the stories that I bring up is not for you to cling on. It's for you to easier to recognize when that integration will be happening. If I write down 2 pages of my story with money, or my story with my mom, or my story with whatever triggers I had or traumas I had, and then I went into the feeling them. When integration happens and you get re-triggered and everything, it's very easy to see it because you literally physically saw it on the page. And then it was like, oh my God, I'm just in the same story. And then you recognize that you're in a reaction, right? And then you know that, oh, that's the doorway. That's the fork. Oh, yeah. I just moved into the old story. And again, even if you moved into the old story for a moment, ain't bad. What does it mean? Your body is simply integrating the new, and you get to support it. Be like, oh, my body wanted to grab this. Like, no, you're safe. You're safe in the new story. You're absolutely safe. Do I go get a hug another tree for safety? Absolutely. By the way, Jessica, I always feel so good hugging. I'm the weirdo that, especially if I found there's quite a few trees that I always find. I don't know, I always find that wherever I go, there's always a big tree that has fork, and it's two of them. It's one, yeah. And yeah, I find that there's one right in front of my house, even here. I had one in Chicago. I have a tree. Any place I am more often, I have a tree that I go visit. And I literally have like, I make a seat in the tree. It's it's hilarious. Yet, yes, sometimes when I feel my old story coming up, mentally, I don't want to fight it. I cannot even fight it. You can't fight it. the more you're going to fight it, the more it's going to resist. Meaning I get to surrender to it, you know. So going out and paying attention somewhere else, you know. Or if the feelings come out with the story, then I get to sit on those feelings.
Yeah,
Then I
I feel like
get to
we're kind of dipping into a really huge process that
yeah,
it's years to get to this point of like really being able to move through fast. I think
correct.
I think that this process is going to be so supportive and like you can go so deep with it
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I feel like right away, right here, inviting you to the part three for sure. We're gonna do a part three, and maybe we're just gonna go through deeper processes for people to see and like actually carve the time for them, sit and journal for a sit and journal and put some music on and all this stuff. Yet for now, I feel like it's such an amazing structure, right? Get the clarity. Why? Right? First of all, this misalignment. It feels are just, if you don't have clarity, go straight into the feeling. Go into the support of field and earth. Um, Recognize the symbiosis of really everything around you supporting you. Go into the feeling. If the story doesn't come up, it's okay. It's okay. Not always you have to have a mental, because again, we're so used to living in our minds, you know. I found that for me, again, and for a lot of my clients, the clarity, it just makes it easier to integrate, right? Because if my pain, let's say with my family or anything else, I can't comprehend why it hurts so much. It's kind of almost more challenging for me to feel it out. But if I was like, oh, that's the little Roma that wants to feel safe, then it's easier for me even to go into like, okay, what's intention for me with the ritual outside, right? So right away I'll know that this intention is for the little Roma to feel safe, and I will ask from the tree, say, you know, and I will ask for them support me and hug me, and I will be in gratitude with the field, you know, that is actually hugging me already, and all and so on. Yet I think it's a really great structure in general for all of you to start tapping and seeing why it's been challenging for you to sacrifice something that hasn't been working for you for a long time
Mhm.
for something that you always wanted. The liberation right there in your belly, the expansive heart, calm mind, or even if it's not calm, you don't get entangled with it. You know, I when I talk to Jessica, I tell her, Benita, I don't answer to my mind. You know, I can keep going. It's not my problem. Yeah. So practice makes it perfect. Again, I don't know where everyone is yet. Wherever you are, on whichever level, whatever moment you are in, tuning into your with yourself, having a little more clarity, and continue to integrate your power. I say we'll always support you. And again, if you feel like, wow, so much, and I really feel called to do that, but I don't know how I can do it by myself, please reach out to Jessica. Reach out to Jessica and get this, jump on the call and see if you're aligned to work with her. Reach out to me. Tune into, again, I'm so honored. Really, the glitches, like the last you and the last with Dr. Catherine, you're already absolutely amazing and extraordinary, hence the glitches, because you had to glitch out of your own paradigm. And now you're supporting others to glitch out of their old paradigms and stories, and traumas that they don't, that they don't want to live in anymore. And so beautiful to see that, yeah, it took, unfortunately, your body to speak very loud to you, Dr. Catherine's body to speak very loud to you, so some of us went through it, so you don't have to, guys. It's like the same, like a ping pong coach, a tennis coach, a basketball coach, or whatever, right? If I want my child to be really good at something, of course I'll hire a professional. There's no questions asked, because just the way they will just tell them to grab a racket is going to be already productive, right? It's going to be value. Just the way they're going to show them how to move the hips in the ping pong, for example, versus if you want to try to learn yourself. Reach out if you're ready for that. And if you're open and if you feel called, because it still gets to be aligned. And if for now you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna try to do it by myself or something. Go all in. You're very powerful. You're very powerful, and then maybe you can join us on the part three and then go even deeper in on the last layer. So yes, reach out to Jessica, reach out to me if anything. Give us more questions or maybe more processes that you want, or maybe more elaboration and experiences that Jessica can share next time of like what is that shamanic journey, and and maybe you want to hear a more personal story of hers or mine, like how did you get here, right? So for Jessica, physical illness, so far glitch that I had, Catherine, the same for me. It was the pain, it was the emotional pain, it was the emotional pain that I was feeling like I'm suffocating, that I was like, I don't have any choice, I gotta figure something out, how to lighten that load up. So yeah, a lot of us got cornered in and then figured it out. So yes, you are as powerful um, as Jesus Christ. I had to say it. I had to.
I love that. I
Yeah,
feel, ooh,
yeah.
beautiful.
Jessica, add anything on the end? How to find you? Where to find you? What else you committing? Any last messages or anything like this? Go for it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, just I've got my website, Be the Light Shamanism.com. I've got Facebook and Instagram, Be the Light Shamanic Healing for those. So yeah.
Awesome. So I don't think on the subject YouTube right now I have you tagged because we had some glitches. Yet I will edit it and I will tag her page. And if I won't be able to do there, I'll put her page in comments. So
Oh
you
yes.
can go on
Do
YouTube, follow her, Facebook, follow her as well. And really the most important, follow your heart. Jessica, to follow your heart, please. Um, One thing right now, before we close, Jessica, at the top of your head, at the top of your experience, whatever comes, right? Um, what was the most cost per se? Because again, cost is the thing, like at this point, it was worth it for us, right? So even when I say cost of the transformation, it's almost like, because cost was just like negative, right? Yet, what was that biggest cost for you to embodying and integrating the glitch? For some of us, it's the losing most of the relationships. For some of us, really losing your old self. For some of us, jobs, families, husband, so much. So what was yours?
the biggest, gosh. Um, it's hard to pick one. But the first thing that comes to mind is being faced with the really hard decision of if I was to stay in my marriage or if I was to leave, because I was sort of given an ultimatum of if I wanted to continue to do my way of life and spirituality, it no longer was in alignment for my ex-husband. And that's what I chose, right? I chose to walk away from the marriage, which was really hard because he's a phenomenal human. We had something good. We had, a beautiful life. But neither of us, we had evolved in ways that neither of us could really be who we truly were in that relationship anymore. So
Beautiful.
that was very painful to be the one to make that call, but I think it ended up serving us best, both as individuals moving forward.
So, what you share right now, how beautifully he came and revealed such a beautiful love for your own self. He was a permission slip as well for you first time to choose you. And again, a lot of times that's what I said by integrating, right? It will happen in life. And in an integration, that's where the sacrifice and action happens. Once you realize the stories, once you start feeling the feelings, you come to a choice point, right? That's how you say it. And yeah, that choice point can be a permission to move into that new paradigm fully, Or it can be, and it's okay still. Some of us will be like, okay, I'm gonna cycle one more time and one more time. And then 3 years later, okay, now I'm ready. Even that is okay. Yet, thank you, Jessica, for sharing, because she had to say bye to her Jessica wife part of her, and pleasing the husband, and probably even dissolving of need of being the good wife and the good woman, and whatever that means, especially feminine, right? Like the pleasing part of us. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's when integration happens, when you actually take that action. And a lot of times, to take that kind of action, to move into different decisions, right? To be able to sacrifice that part, or that amount of money, or that space, or that time for yourself, universe will always answer. And universe will answer as a mirror, yet it will multiply. So the love that in the moment she didn't, it probably was heartbreaking as well, right? Choosing it. So in the moment she felt heartbreak while choosing love for herself and herself, guess what? Jessica, tell me. Universe gave it back to you tenfold. Oh, yes. Here you go.
I
That's
think
the really.
well, I think it
I,
was for both of us. Yeah.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So as he didn't sell out, you didn't sell out.
Exactly. Yep.
Amen. Yeah, amen. So yeah, it will always, and it's not for the rewards we really do it. Yet just so you know, yes, it gets lighter on the other side when you go through the birth canal. Yes, yes. There is way more peace. Yes, there is way more freedom on the other side, and ease and health and harmony within you, within your relationships and everything else. So thank you for the glitches. Thank you for the glitches. Thank you for everyone that's been the glitches and been forging this path and been in solitude and lonely and dismissed. Thank you for everyone that's coming into that, because maybe you're not anymore as dismissed from the outside world. Yes, I know how dismissive it can feel inside. I know how lonely it can feel inside. I know how you might be feeling like you're going crazy. Yet, thank you for you. Thank you for glitching your own matrices, because if you can lead yourself, you can lead anyone. And imagine the value we are when we can lead ourselves. So, thank you, Jessica, one more time. I know this is not first or last time we co-creating. And thank you, every soul, every heart that allowed themselves to be here with us today, later on, and that allows themselves to glitch their own old stuff that doesn't work for them anymore, because your peace, your harmony, your self-love is contagious.
Mm. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Roma. Mwah.
Enjoy your next call, Jessica. Thank you so much for fitting us that way. And yeah, I will put some links. And then if I need any more links from you or anything, I'll ask you. I'll edit it and I'll do it tomorrow. And I say thank you, everyone, for being here with us. Jessica, such a pleasure, as always.
Oh, thank you so much, Roma. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for creating this space, and I look forward to connecting again.
Amen. And so be it, and so it is.
Mhm. Goodbye.
There's the glitch. Woo! I love it. So I will stop the live and we'll say bye to Jessica personally, although she gets to jump on another call, I know, very fast. More. Oh, live stream. Yes.